Defy Life. It's more than just about some football. All my sports teams off season go through withdrawals, 30 minutes to tip off. Like Rakim was saying, weak ideas give me ear problems. Sound like thunder and rain. I'm excited that you came on this journey with 3 of my friends. Defy life till we die and grow wings. Just a different perspective. Haters in every direction. Refuse to live my life based off your projections. Their expectations are lazy. My expectations are crazy. My lady defies me. Goofy, Brown, Brady, Jordan, LeBron, Aaron, Bonds, Mayweather, Ivy Foreman. You get the picture, greatest ever born. I attack without warning. This is not around the horn. Them other shows whack, a lot of yawning. You really want to be the best, got to pay the price. We make winning look easy. Welcome to Defy Life. Defy Life.
Welcome to the Defy Life Podcast, brought to you by GoDefyLife.com. I am your host, J.R. Glenth, joined by my co-hosts, Thomas Stevens, Keyonne Small. We'll be joined shortly by Alvin Glenth. Thomas, how's it going today, sir?
Going very well down here in South Carolina, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Keyonne, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm in recovery after sitting in traffic 9 hours.
Yeah,
Clips traffic.
So, a 4-hour drive turned into 9.5 hours. Thanks to the eclipse.
Right. Crazy.
Yeah, I went to Eclipse concert.
It's like I drove to New York yesterday. Yeah, 85 was packed like a Eclipse concert.
That is crazy, man. Wow. Well, made it safely though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I can't complain on that. Everything's safe. So.
All right. Cool. Well, I mean, 9.5 hours just give you more opportunity to listen to the second Mace album and the fourth DMX album. Dope.
Man. Yeah, I was listening to sports radio talking about the same thing over and over, but it was cool.
No doubt. Well, so the good thing, for those of you who don't know, the good thing that we changed our podcast timing from Sundays to Tuesday nights. Yep. Because good things seem to happen on Tuesdays. A lot of juicy stuff. First and foremost, the big trade, man. Kyrie Irving finally got his wish. The Cleveland Cavaliers trading Kyrie Irving, the all-star point guard, to the Boston Celtics in exchange for another all-star point guard, Isaiah Thomas, for forward Jay Crowder, center Ante Zizic, and a future, unprotected
Brooklyn.
Unprotected pick of the Brooklyn Nets in 2018, which is likely going to be the first overall pick. So with that being said, really quickly before we dive too deep, Keyonne, I think I know your answer, but who won this trade?
Cleveland.
All right. Thomas, who do you think won this trade?
I really think the Celtics played entirely too much, man.
Yeah, I agree. So to delve into, and if you look at that unprotected pick, if that does turn out to be the first overall pick, you're looking at Michael Porter Jr. or the kid that just committed to Duke, Marvin Bagley. So either you're getting, for what most people say, the next LeBron, or you're getting the next Chris Bosh.
KD, or I heard a KD comparison
KD,
as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, quickly before I let you guys dive deep, I think for the moment, like instantly, Cleveland got better and Boston stays about the same. But for the future, Cleveland got much better and Boston got worse.
Okay. Let me give a different perspective on it. Just to say that something I heard, I was like all in. We all in an agreement until one thing I saw. They're making a bet. They said that Danny Ainge is making a bet that Brooklyn is going to be better than they were last year, and he got the Lakers pick too. So he's gambling, which I think is a bad gamble, that the Lakers are going to fall between 2 and 3. I think he got the Lakers pick between 2 and 5 or something.
Yeah.
And he's making a gamble that the Lakers are going to be that bad and Brooklyn's going to be better. Because he could have traded the Lakers pick too.
Yeah, exactly. And the only reason that I can see behind that is that the Lakers are in the West, and it's a tougher conference, of course. So maybe that affects their record more because Brooklyn maybe can make some noise in the East. I just don't see it. I mean, with
either.
D'Angelo Russell's your best player, it ain't happening.
That's what he's betting. So
yeah.
I think the Nets are better than us as in the Bulls. So I think they have a better
Really?
product out there on the court than us. So they may, they may have a better record.
So Pooh, if you Danny Ainge now, so it's the Cleveland sitting there saying we want one of those picks. Which one?
I don't give them either. I think with the picks, you overspent. I think I kind of think you overspent for the picks because he wanted out. I mean, you kind of have the leverage. I don't think you have to go with those picks. I'll give them our pick. Here, you can have the Celtics number 2. 2 years in a row first round picks. Yeah. But I'm not giving them Brooklyn or the Lakers pick. I'm just not.
And I think the only leverage that Cleveland has in this, well, not necessarily that Cleveland has, but the only loss of leverage that Boston has is that Isaiah Thomas's contract is up after this year. So at least they get another year at least out of Kyrie. So that kind of, they of course they passed on Marquise Fultz in the draft, so they would be short of a point guard. So they either have to pay Isaiah this year or go draft another point guard. So that kind of, Kyrie kind of, Isaiah is kind of putting them in the same box that Kyrie has Cleveland in, where he's kind of holding them hostage because he wants a max deal. So I can see it from that regard, so in turn it does give Cleveland leverage because they're like, okay, either you lose, get rid of Isaiah now and give us more than you should, or you lose him totally and get nothing in return.
See, the thing is, Danny Ainge knows more about basketball and his pinky index than I'll ever know in my life, right? But that being said, I feel like point guards in 2017, 2018 seem to come a dime a dozen. Point guards are like running backs in the NFL. So if Isaiah Thomas walks, it seems like you can get another very good point guard, decent point guard. And I heard you groan, Jay, so slap me if I'm wrong, but it seems like they could fill that spot and with some functional, and then put someone else in there, a shooting guard or small forward, like a position that you can't fill easily.
Well, I just think it depends on how you look at it. Like, I do agree that there are, there's an abundance of great point guards in this league. But if you look at it from a different perspective, like, it's a guards league, so. Okay. For that reason is because there are a lot of great point guards now. So it is a point guard driven league now. So you look at the teams that the elite teams in the league all have the top of the line point guards. So if you go like say fill a spot with just an okay point guard, you can fill that spot. But will you ever can you maintain elite status in today's game? It's kind of like, in the 80s or 90s, if you had there were a lot of great centers. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you can just plug one in because he's 7 feet tall.
Well, damn it. And I know that you're going to say, but I've got to say it. The all-time Chicago Bulls did it. Yes, they had Jordan, but I don't know, bro. I kind of look at Cleveland. Cleveland kind of is doing that now. They could just plug in, Derrick Rose in there, They got LeBron James.
Yeah, you pick the two greatest players in the last 40 years and then say, but they different. So that's what I'm saying is unless you got those guys, you might want to follow the recipe. You can break a lot of rules if you got Michael LeBron. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't I don't think Boston has the tools everywhere else to just lose Isaiah Thomas and get nothing in return. And gamble on draft picks repeatedly. They're Philly in that sense.
I look at what the Hawks did with Dennis Schroeder. They picked him. I think he was 17, if I'm not mistaken. And he's kind of what I mean. He's functional. I think they ask him to do too much, and he makes a lot of mistakes as a result. Yeah. But I still think it can be done. But whatever. Boston doesn't believe that way. Obviously, they believe you need a point guard. And Kyrie, it's not even. I don't even agree. No, I don't agree because Kyrie Irving is not a point guard that, in my opinion, makes teams better. Like you run through him. He's a shooting guard. He does not pass well, bro.
I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like he might as well have been a shooting guard then. You might as well just have no point guard, like some guy and a shooting guard then that can do great things with the ball, you know?
Yeah, but like I think to do that, like you got to have somebody that's like super special. Like to have a 6'1", 6'1" shooting guard, he got to be like Iverson. Like you got to be otherworldly to get away with that. Unless you can, and that's like who's going to play shooting guard for Boston? Gordon Hayward.
I guess what I'm saying is having Kyrie at your point is like having a shooting guard anyway, because he don't pass.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's the point? What's the difference?
Yeah, but that's when you got that in Isaiah. He's a scorer first as well.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So like if I don't know. I would like if you're, and I'm just saying because you brought the name up. So I would rather have Kyrie and give up Jay Crowder and a pick than have Isaiah leave and go get Dennis Schroeder.
And a goddamn one. You get the first. Really, Jay?
Yeah, because like,
I mean, I'm serious now.
Well, I mean, because like Danny Ainge accumulated
possibly the
so
first
many
pick
picks.
and the third pick.
But that's what I'm saying. So you're going to do that again. So what are you going to have? A lineup of Jason Tatum and 2 other rookies? Like essentially you're going to be Philly. Like at some point you got to you either got to be rebuilding or you got to be a championship contender. You can't be both. And if you're accumulating picks and you got a stockpile full of rookies, you're just rebuilding, and that's not the mode that you're in. So at some point you got to get rid of one of those picks. That's what everybody was saying during the offseason, why Danny Ainge kept holding on to those picks. Is it didn't make sense because you're going to have 2 top 5 picks riding the bench, and 3 because Tatum's not going to start. Probably not his first year or 2.
I guess you're right. I guess if you want to win now, you need like a veteran, like an anchor, is basically what you're saying.
And you still have Al Horford. You just brought in Gordon Hayward. Like those young guys, like, eventually you got to get something for those picks, and at least you know what you're getting in Kyrie Irving, as opposed to like going and drafting the next great college point guard who may not be worth shit.
And that's the other than that, I don't like the trade, but as in knowing what you have and the enigma of drafting potential that may never flourish, then I totally get the trade. But other than that, I don't like the trade. If that makes any sense,
It makes it just don't feel right. It doesn't. I feel like they gave up too. It doesn't feel right. I feel the same way. I'm not sitting here going, because Boston usually. Like the way they did Brooklyn, Boston usually get people like going, oh man.
Yeah, and and that's what's interesting is because it's not like not only did they trade him within the conference, you trade him to your main competition. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're making a trade with Brooklyn or the Knicks, and it's just east to east. You trading them to the team that you're going to be battling for the finals. Mm-hmm. So that's even more puzzling, but. I would have, if Cleveland was going to get over on anybody, it would have been anybody but Boston, I would have thought.
The only thing I think that makes sense is maybe Boston really think Bron gone. So if Bron leaves, then the East is yours. Right? I'm looking around. I don't who else is there?
But then you setting up, maybe for a year or 2, but then you're setting up Cleveland to get that number 1 pick. So if they bringing in the next great product, if they're essentially bringing in another, they're replacing LeBron with a young run. I'm not saying he's going to be that, but I'm that's of course you drafting the player number 1 overall. That's you're playing for him. So I get that. I'm sure that probably came into the equation for Boston, but I don't know if. I don't know. I can't honestly say that they were looking that far out in the future.
Yeah, obviously they're not. So let me ask you: if you Boston, do you do the trade?